Hi, this is Annie Grace, and I am answering readers' questions. And I got such a great question today from Lauren. She says, "Hey, Annie, I am 6 months alcohol-free with the alcohol experiment. I feel fat and my skin still looks terrible. I'm nervous about going anywhere alcohol is served. Can you please help?" So a few different questions in here, and I love this. Thank you for your question. And before we start, if you are curious at all about how your life could look different, join us. It's always free at the Alcohol Experiment. You can download the Alcohol Experiment app on your phone, or you can join me at alcoholexperiment.com. We have over 250,000 people who have done the Alcohol Experiment now, and it is so life-changing. So first of all, Lauren, congratulations on 6 months. It's absolutely incredible. In terms of your thinking about body and about skin and sort of the physical things, I'm actually going to recommend just, looking into things like health at every size or intuitive eating, or just some thinking things about body in general. Here's the thing is that so many things in my life, I have come to realize that there's so much more thinking issues than they are real issues. There are issues in my perception of what should be good or what should be right. I had this experience with my body, and basically it looked like this. Here I am at 42 years old. I've got a new daughter, and I weigh more than I ever have before in my life. And I'm super frustrated about it. And I feel uncomfortable, and I feel awkward when I see people that haven't seen me in a while. And I'm all in my head about it, as a lot of women are. And I'm really down on myself. And what happened was I had just randomly been reorganizing my office, and I picked up a journal, and the journal was from about 2006. And there was two interesting things in this journal. One was that I was already starting to notice that I was drinking more than I wanted to. And two is I was so upset with my body. I was newly married. I was living in New York City. I remember how I looked at 2006, and I remember what I thought I looked like. And then now I can go back and I can see pictures. And I just remember just this journal just pouring out all of this hatred toward my body, like of, just toxic, awful things about how I felt in my own skin, and just completely yelling at myself in my journal about like all this stuff. And I look back at pictures, and I weighed 25 pounds less than I did when I was picking that journal back up at 42 years old, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, I looked amazing. I right now would do anything to to be in the body from 2006. What was I doing? And then I remember thinking about that, and I was like, oh my gosh, I remember being upset with myself on my honeymoon. And I was about 10 pounds less than that 2006 journal entry on my honeymoon. And I was like, I was still upset. And so I can look at pictures where I've looked the best that I'd ever looked. And I can remember how I felt in that moment, and how I felt with self-hatred, how I felt with self-loathing, how I felt with disgust. And in that moment, I realized, this is not a reality problem. This is a thinking problem. And so that started me on a whole different journey. Here's the thing, and I think Tony Robbins says this best. He says, happiness can come when your beliefs and your expectations match your reality. Now, in that equation, so belief or expectations plus reality, if they match, if they equal each other, equals reality, if they are equal, right? So what you think and expect should be, and what really is, if they match, you're going to be happy about it. You're going to be like, okay, great. I expected that I weighed this much, and I do. Awesome. I'm happy about it. Now in that equation, there are two levers: your belief and expectations, and your actual circumstance or reality. And you can change both things. You can certainly go and, start to eat in a different way, or exercise more, do whatever you want to change that. But here's the reality for me is I had been doing those things, and I had been changing those things. And it was my belief that needed to change. It was my self-acceptance that needed to change. It was getting in touch with value, my own value outside of how I looked. And that for me changed everything, because it was like, okay, you can change your circumstances, which can sometimes be hard, if not impossible, or you can change your thinking. And for me, when it came to that, changing my thinking, oh, wow, That was a big deal. And so I just encourage you to do that. You know, at 6 months, obviously, this doesn't have to do anything with alcohol anymore. You probably have some expectations that you would lose some weight, because people do sometimes, people don't other times, through drinking, through not drinking. But the reality is things have probably settled out, and you can change, you know, your circumstances. You can work hard at that. But I promise you this too, is that even if you change your circumstances, you probably won't be happy until you change your belief and your expectations, until you change your thinking. So I think that's where the work is. And on the flip side, when you come at your body with self-acceptance and self-love and compassion and desire to feed it for health rather than size, oh my gosh, actually your circumstances change. Does that make sense? So I've read it once, and I don't have the statistic. I don't like to quote statistics that I don't have handy. So I'm just going to caveat this to say that I read this once, and I don't know where, because it was a very, very long time ago before I was doing any research. But what I heard is that the thinnest people are the most unhappy with their body usually. And I saw this was really true with my own mother, to be honest. She's very small, very muscular, always has been in amazing shape. And it's usually not more than 5 minutes that you're with her before she's saying something negative toward her own body. And so that was really interesting, because I was sitting next to her being much larger than she is. She's about 5 foot, 5'2" or something. I'm like 5'8", and always going to weigh 30, 40 pounds, 50 pounds more than, no, I probably weigh 50, 60 pounds more than my mother. And that's just always was going to be the case. And so if she's saying something negative about her body at her size, I'm deeply internalizing this. And we've had this conversation and really been able to heal from a lot of this, because she was able to notice where she got it in her past, and how it was kind of these beliefs that have been passed down to us generationally, that worth is tied up in how we look. And we were really able to do a lot of healing through that. But the interesting thing is the circumstance here, at least in my experience, has never made me happy. My best shape, my thinnest, times where in pictures it looks like my head is too big for my body, I remember what I was thinking. And what I was thinking, I think it's called body dysmorphia. I was thinking very nasty things, very toxic things, very horrible things, nitpicking every single little thing, feeling very uncomfortable in my own skin. And so now doing that thinking work not only has really helped me make peace, but also ironically, feeding myself for health has helped my weight just even out. So it's like this crazy thing that when you actually look at changing your thoughts, changing your thinking, instead of changing your circumstances tend to change. When you just are trying to change your circumstances, especially if it's through shame and blame and guilt, then your feelings actually can get worse and worse, and it won't actually matter how you look. So that was very long about the fact that I think sometimes what we need to hear and what we need to heal is what we believe and what we expect and how we view ourselves rather than anything externally. So I hope that makes sense. Your second question is, hi, Annie, I am nervous about going anywhere where alcohol is served. Can you please help? So this is really just thought work as well. This is digging in and saying, okay, what is it that I'm nervous about specifically? Am I afraid of missing out? Am I afraid of the peer pressure? If you're afraid of the peer pressure, this really becomes all about, okay, let me visualize how it is going to be to say, do you want something to drink? Yeah, I'd love an iced tea. How is that going to feel? Or how is it going to be to show up somewhere early, order a drink, get something in my hand that's great and refreshing and non-alcoholic before anybody asks me anything? Because guess what? People don't ask if you want a drink if you already have a drink in your hand. And so how is that going to be? Visualize that. I would literally visualize it. I would close my eyes before I went anywhere that I was nervous about. And I would imagine myself walking into the place, ordering a lemonade, laughing a lot, having a great night, a great time. Now, I didn't always have the best time, but I always did that prep work. And then the other piece of this is, what beliefs do you still have? Like, there's two pieces, right? One is the discomfort of saying no and feeling pressured. And how are you going to navigate those conversations. And I think there's some great ways to, you know, say yes instead of no. Yes, I'd love an iced tea, or yes, I'd love some water because I need to get hydrated. So if someone's asking, what do you want to drink? You're not saying, no, I'm not drinking right now, which of course invites, oh, are you sure? I mean, come on, we were just in this crazy time. Like, you can drink, no problem, you know, all this sorts of stuff. So saying yes instead of no, I think is one really important way. And then just really making sure that you are sure about what you want to do. So this is number one point of discomfort, is external from people. The second point of discomfort in going out for the first time when you haven't been out for a while is really internal. Your feelings that you're missing out, your feelings that something is happening that you're not anymore taking a part of, and your feelings of upset because of that. And this is just making a list. Do I think I'm going to miss out? Do I think I'm not going to have as much fun? Do I think that, you know, people will not think I'm as much fun? Will I be bored? Will I not like my friends? Whatever these concerns are for you, what benefit do you think having a drink might provide? And then just going through, whether it's opening back up This Naked Mind or the book, The Alcohol Experiment, or even going back through the Alcohol Experiment. Again, it's always free at alcoholexperiment.com, and just getting that information every single day to help you combat those beliefs and really deconstruct them. We don't want to, you know, ingest anything that we don't think provides a benefit. And so when you work through those beliefs, you can really free yourself of them. So anyway, thank you so much for such great questions, and I hope you have a wonderful day.